Hello, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make someone stop ignoring you. So anyone who's been there knows being ignored by someone, being ignored by a specific person is really painful, especially if you have a wound from your past that I like to call fear of abandonment. Many people probably already know what that is. I'll talk a little bit more about it in this video, but for those of us who have felt abandoned before, the experience of being ignored by someone can be just incredibly painful. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what to do if you are being ignored and how to create a reality where that person stops ignoring you. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Before I jump in, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel in the corner or below. Also know that I offer lots of self-study courses. All of my courses are linked below. There are, I can't count. There's a lot of courses, maybe like 13, I think, courses down there in the description. There is a course called Free Yourself down there in the specific person section. And this course specifically goes into how to heal your fear of abandonment. So if you resonate with having this type of wound, you might want to check out that course. The last thing I'll say is I do a weekly giveaway for a bundle of 3 ebooks that I wrote. The way to enter into the contest is to subscribe to my channel, to like this video, and to comment below. I give 3 ebooks to 3 people every week. So let's jump in. What do you do if you're being ignored by someone? How do you stop this experience? How do you make this person stop ignoring you? All of these things. I want to dive into this whole realm of being ignored in this video. So the place I want to start is, well, the real place I want to start is where I start with every video, essentially, is that we're creating our realities from the inside out. And this includes how other people show up with us. So if you are in a reality where you are being ignored by someone, first of all, like I said, it's incredibly painful, and I don't want to minimize that. And something that is really empowering for us to understand and to start to turn this pattern around so we don't have to feel ignored anymore. It's important for us to understand that we have created this experience of being ignored. Sometimes that's a tough pill to swallow, and sometimes it's really empowering. It can be both. But you, through your own beliefs and assumptions and expectations in relationships, have had somehow or have created this reality of being ignored. So that means there's something inside of you up until this point that has on some level expected to be ignored. Now, sometimes it's really easy for us to figure out where this comes from. Sometimes it's not so easy, but often where an expectation to be ignored or to be left or to be abandoned or to be rejected, all of these things, any wound, where these expectations often come from is our past. And usually it comes from way, way, way back in your past, in your childhood. So what happens is typically we are exposed to behavior as kids that creates little wounds inside of us. And this is very common. Typically those wounds happen with our parents, but they can also happen with other significant people in our lives. And so if something happened to you in your childhood, or even an ongoing experience happened in your childhood, sometimes we don't. I'm a psychologist. I understand, I've really studied how our past influences us. I want you to trust me when I say, through my perspective, you don't actually have to go back and find out where the wound happened. You can, if you want. My course Free Yourself teaches you an easy way to do that. However, you don't have to do that to heal the wound. All you have to know is somehow, somewhere along the way, you develop some sort of expectation to be ignored. And that is why this experience now is occurring in your reality, where someone is ignoring you, where someone has left, where someone has abandoned you, where they've gone away. We create that from an inner expectation within. Now, What do you do to recreate a new reality where you're no longer going to be ignored by this person? There are really 2 steps that I want to go into in this video. There's probably more than 2 steps, but in this video, I want to break it down into 2 steps. First of all, if you want to create a new reality where someone's not ignoring you, the main thing you have to do is you need to change your inner expectation around what's going to happen to you. And we can even call this changing your self-concept, changing who you are, changing how you treat yourself, changing what you expect to be treated by other people. All of this is changing your inner reality. And the main thing for us to do to stop being ignored by someone is to change our inner reality. It's not actually about them, right? Because you are creating everything from the inside out. Everyone is you pushed out. I just recorded a video about that. I'll post it up there if you want to watch it afterwards. Everyone is you pushed out, which means everyone out there is acting in a way that is in alignment with your expectations. So if someone is ignoring us, or if we repeat patterns of feeling ignored, feeling dropped, feeling abandoned, all these things, it means that we are living with some sort of expectation that this is how it's going to go in relationships. So the only thing for you to do to change this pattern in your life is to change what you expect within. There are 2 ways that I like to do this. The first way is self-love. The self-love is incredibly important and incredibly potent in terms of changing your relationships. And here's why. When you learn to show up and treat yourself essentially the way you want other people to treat you, you automatically develop an expectation that other people are going to treat you that way too. You also develop higher standards where you're like, I will only be treated this particular way. I will only be treated with total respect and with attention and consistency. I talk about this, about raising your standards, in this video up here about fierce self-love. So if you want to watch it afterwards, you can. But self-love is huge when it comes to changing not only your experience in life, but your experience with others. Because when you learn to show up and treat yourself the way you want other people to treat you, you automatically start expecting other people to do so as well. So in terms of specifically being ignored by someone, the best thing for you to do is to go into a practice of inner child work. And this is a very potent practice. If you notice that you repeat patterns in relationships that are painful, if you continue to create scenarios where you're ignored, dropped, abandoned, not loved, you don't feel worthy, all of these things, to me, that's an indication that there's a deeper wound that could use your attention and love. And I call that the inner child. It's learning to be with the part of you that expects to be ignored and essentially teaching him or her, the inner child, that you're going to be there for them and they're not going to be ignored by you. Now, this may sound simple or maybe it sounds profound, but it actually is incredible the amount of transformation that can come from you starting to show up for yourself in these hurt spaces. You know, I talk to obviously a lot of people. I have many clients and also a lot of you watching my videos, and the amount of people that have told me that inner child work has like literally changed their lives is huge. People consistently tell me that self-love and inner child work really changes their lives. So I'm going to link my inner child playlist. If you want to dive deeper into this practice, have a look at that playlist to learn exactly how to show up for your inner child. But essentially what you're going to be doing is when you start to feel it triggered that you've been ignored or dropped or abandoned, you want to go within, hold your heart, hold your body, close your eyes, and start talking to this part of you that feels ignored and abandoned, and start telling him or her that you are here for them, that you're not going to leave them, that you are here to stay, and you know they are hurt, and you know this doesn't feel good, but you are here and you're never going to leave them. Okay? When you start doing a practice like this, it's very deep, it's very healing, and I promise you, if you stick with a practice like this, what's going to happen is eventually you're no longer going to be triggered by outside things happening, because you can like really hold yourself. And when you can really hold yourself and you start to not expect to be dropped anymore, to be ignored, all of these things. So inner child work and showing up for that wounded part of you and telling that part that you are here, you are not going to leave them, is step one. Notice that has nothing to do with the other person who's ignoring you. Self-love typically doesn't have anything to do with the person. And it's still vitally important to change the pattern with this person. Because again, when you change your expectations about what you're going to receive by showing up for yourself, you have to change the outer reality. You don't even have to do step two, but we are going to do step two to make it extra potent. So let me dive into what step two is. Step two is you have to create a new expectation of what this person is doing with you in your reality. Now, many people's impulses is going to be to jump to step two. And the reason is, especially when we're manifesting a specific person, we can become hyper-focused on them. And really we start to kind of ignore ourselves, which if you're ignoring yourself, what are you going to create in your reality? A matching reality where you're getting ignored. So it's really important for you not to skip this step one of showing up for yourself. And once you're developing an incredibly profound self-love practice, I have courses also below on how to create a really profound, deep self-love practice. Once you've created that, you can move to step two, or you can do them simultaneously. Just don't skip step one. So step two, when you're starting to feel more confident and centered and self-loving in your own self, then you can start to go within and create a new inner knowing or inner expectation of how this person is going to show up with you. What keeps someone ignoring you is you stuck in total focus on the fact that they're ignoring you. Whatever we focus on, we create more of. I'll link a video about an old video of mine about what you focus on about your specific person grows. You can watch that after if you want. What you focus on, you create more of. So if you're focusing on someone ignoring you, if you're focusing on yourself feeling abandoned, if you're focusing on feeling left, you have to create more experiences in the outer reality that are going to make you feel that way. So again, you have to raise your self-love. You have to show up for yourself so you don't feel ignored anymore. You don't feel abandoned. You don't feel left. And then once you're in that more inner stabilized state, you start to imagine a new scenario with this person. They're not ignoring me. They're starting to come around. They're thinking about me all the time. Post my video about how to manifest an experience where your specific person is thinking about you all the time. They're thinking about me all the time. They want to reach out to me. They're starting to come back. I feel them starting to come back. They're starting to come towards me. I don't have to go towards them. They're going to come towards me. You start working your way, and you see I'm saying affirmations, and I'm doing I'm feeling the truth of these affirmations within when I close my eyes and say, they're starting to come towards me. They're moving towards me. Their energy's coming towards me. I'm feeling that new reality. And then your job is to amplify feeling that new reality as much as you can. Eventually, that's the new reality you're going to create, right? Because everything that shows up in our outer reality is a reflection of the inner reality. Everything. And the beauty of this, it means that you have full control over exactly what shows up in your reality. You have full control. People have to align with your expectations. If you expect to be ignored on some unconscious level, it has to show up in your reality. However, if you change your self-concept to someone who knows you will not be ignored, knows you will not be dropped, knows you will not be abandoned, you won't be anymore. And I know this process very well. I have taken myself through this process. I can't remember how many years ago at this point where I really deeply went through this process, but it's been a very long time where I felt dropped, abandoned, left, all these things in relationship. It just hasn't shown itself to me. And that is because I changed my self-concept to someone. I don't expect that to happen. And in fact, I expect my partner to be incredibly present, caring, loving, available. And he is. Okay, so this is how you do it, and I hope this resonates for you. I would love to hear what you think about it below. Please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and please make sure you subscribe and like this video as well, and I'll see you soon.